Oops. Welcome to the Lift Heavy Run Long podcast, episode number 193. My name is Wilson Horrell. I am one of your hosts. I am joined by the Reverend Vaughn Rawls sitting to my right.
Here I am.
And to his right, we have Big Thirsty Brian Swanson. We do not have the talent, the looks, the glue that holds this thing together.
The adult in the room.
Dr. Amanda Kimsey Horrell, because she's out doing what adults do. And if there was going to be one person who was doing something more important than this podcast, it would naturally be her.
100% of the time.
But she might join us. She might come busting up in here later.
She'll probably come in and drop some knowledge on us.
That's right.
For some reason.
That's what she do.
Or other.
There's something coming up that everybody needs to be available for.
What's that?
I don't think I even told y'all this. Chris Hope got the green light to put on his 5K.
Oh,
I just got an email saying they were doing it virtual, but they're going to do it live?
They're doing it live at Court Square Park on October 3rd.
Well, it turns out there's not a half Ironman that day, so
I know.
I'm available now.
it also turns out there's no 24-hour race that usually conflicts with that 5K, right?
That's right. Well, there's not a 24-hour race that we have not allowed to conflict.
Well, I
did.
didn't. You guys went.
But thank God it's not then. So, I mean, he's got that weekend to himself.
Wow.
October 3rd. Let's see.
That's the staying power of Chris Hope.
How does...
Chris Hope's got some power. The man is the man.
Right.
There's no doubt about
I believe that. I mean, I don't know anyone that works as hard as that man does.
You don't. No.
And always
I
has a
don't.
smile on his face.
Yeah.
And is always bringing light to the room.
I think he drives a UPS truck, like an 18-wheeler type thing for a living. Like he does that.
Wow.
Correct.
He does that all day.
At odd hours, at very difficult hours.
And then I think he's building a house, the Chris Hope house. Like he's literally building a house. Like he is renovating a house. It's amazing. Like,
he's the James Brown of charity work.
There's
He's the
no
hardest
way.
working man in charity, in philanthropy. And you would think that somebody like that would have to have like a meth habit and they would crash.
Yeah.
That's the way something like that works. Like Chris Hope is up and coming. He's a great guy. Good things are happening. And then we start to see him like on the cover of Just Busted. But I mean, this has been going on for years and years.
Yeah. He just never crashes.
He never crashes.
Man.
So
Wow.
you got
He's
to
just
support him.
He's making the rest of us look bad.
He is doing that, but he's on our side.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, right.
And he's on LHRL's side. He's been a tremendous supporter of Lift Heavy Run Long and asked for nothing in return.
Yep. He will always be wearing the LHRL shirt, which is always cool to see.
Well,
So if you can support him, go to runsignup.com. Let's see, what does it say? Chris Hope Race for Hope. Chris Hope Foundation. CHF Race for Hope. Do that.
I'm going to do it.
The other thing we have coming up is the Big Hill Pond Walking Tall 25K, 50K on October 17th. So whoever's out there that's not signed up for that needs to get signed up for that.
I'm signed up. I'm running the 25K.
You are in.
I am for the 25K.
Thirsty.
I will be out of town.
You'll be out of town. I'm signed up for the 50K. I don't know that I will likely do the same thing I did last year and probably just bail at the world's greatest aid station where Amanda will be.
Since
50K? You just ran a 50K
since
yesterday?
your wife will be there.
So she'll be there. So it'll be a good place to stop.
But
you got
also
to ride
just ran
home.
50K.
What?
You also just ran a 50K.
I did indeed.
Yesterday, day before yesterday.
And because of running that 50K, I'm aware of the fact that I most likely cannot run the Big Hill Pond 50K.
Well, listen, I have a question. If I'm running the 25K at Big Hill Pond, do I have to climb the water tower? How does that work?
Yes.
Okay.
One time.
One
As
time.
opposed to twice.
50Kers have to do it twice?
Correct.
What mile is that at, by the way?
Blah. I would say right at about the halfway point, but I don't know. I don't have any idea.
Maybe halfway.
Somebody know. Ask Brian. He'll lie to you.
You climb up the water tower and get a shot of Fireball and then go back down. And
That's right.
Okay.
Assuming that some bootlegger there has snuck in unbeknownst to Brian and Sean, and happens to have Fireball, which they won't because you can't have that in a park. So
Oh, no, of course
there
not.
won't be anybody there doing that. Of
course not.
There has in the past, but they've gotten rid of all that.
If there is, I'm sure they'll be wearing a
They've
mask.
cleaned the place up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably a brand new bottle of Fireball every time someone gets a shot.
That's right.
They just have hundreds of
It's
bottles.
a bunch of airplane bottles.
Nobody can have share bottles.
How did the 50K go this weekend?
It was awesome, man.
Fortitude trail race.
Fortitude, 25K, 50K. It was dynamite. It was so much fun.
How many runners? Ish.
A lot. I'm not very good with numbers. I don't know.
Pretty typical rate. Pretty typical number for that race weekend.
I would say so. I mean,
That's good.
less, but I would say there seemed to be an awful lot of 50Kers out there.
I believe that.
Man,
Weather was perfect.
That is a hard. Now, this is the first year it's been Fortitude, but it's been the same for September for years past, right? And the thing about that race that's hard for me is that it starts really good. You do a couple of laps, but then at this time of year, it starts getting hot.
Yeah.
And once it starts getting hot, it gets really hard. You know, you're doing those second and fourth laps are like brutal.
I was asking myself that while I was running. I was like, is this as hot as I feel like it is hot? Because, I mean, 80 degrees is pretty hot. But for me, 60 degrees is pretty hot. If it's over like 45, then I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, but it's bearable, you know, in the morning time when you start at 7.
It was awesome.
But then, like, once it gets to be 10, 11 o'clock, pushing noon.
Last year is like 92.
That is the only race that I've ever taken my shirt off at.
Oh, really?
Like,
Really?
I literally took my shirt off and ran, like, the last 2 laps.
Yeah.
It was so hot. And there was a dude, when I did it, it was the Bartlett Park Ultras or whatever, a couple
right.
times. There was a 50-mile or 40-miler.
There was a 40-miler and a 50-miler.
And now I remember there's a guy named Nicholas Johnson, I think is his name. And he's got these big, long dreadlocks. And I've known him from other ultras that I've ran. And I remember he was the only person running the 40-mile race. And I was like, dude, I can't believe you're doing. Nobody wants to run 40 miles at Stanky Creek.
I can see why.
I don't. 50K is probably the absolute.
Maybe
limit.
that's where we'll have to do our 50th birthday. Just
Right,
now that you've thrown down the gauntlet,
Right.
we got to do our 50-mile.
Man,
They did it in reverse this year, which was really nice, man.
what does that mean?
Really nice.
I never know what that means.
You know how typically you pull into the parking lot and you'd go to the right?
You do the blue loop first for 2 miles, and then
So we went down, you know, the big monstrophic hill that
that's
you come up.
that's on the blue loop.
We went down that. So
Okay.
we went the blue loop
that's
first.
fine.
And that
You
was at
just-
the beginning of the loop, not at the
Right,
end of the loop.
right.
Yeah, so
But that's what you always do,
Well,
right?
no.
No, you usually start at the
Bartlett Park Ultras were
Spit it
that
out,
way
man.
when they changed it to the Stanky Creek Ultra.
Oh,
We started at that end of the parking lot where the blue loop, where you go into the blue loop, but you ran to the other end of the parking lot and went in, and then you went out on the white loop first, and you finished on the blue loop.
gotcha.
Is the way it has been for the last, I'm going to say
Okay.
5 years.
Okay.
Let's just say for the 5 years it's been that way. But Bartlett Park Ultras are the way you remember it, where we started on the blue loop.
Okay.
Because I remember it was one of the first times I interacted with Kevin Leathers, and one funny thing, one not funny thing on about Kevin Leathers at that race. One, when you went by him, he said something like, "Shouldn't you be deadlifting a barbell or something like that?"
Right.
And the second thing is going down the hill, I went by him without calling out, like passing on your left, and he wasn't mean about it, but he just corrected me. He's like, you know, effectively, like, you're supposed to call out when you're
Let me
passing
know you're
somebody.
coming by.
Yeah.
I seem to remember, speaking of Kevin, that I ran, that's my best 50K I've ever ran, which was like 5 hours and 43 minutes. And I was, at the beginning of that race, I was like right there behind him.
Yeah.
And I was like, for that first 2 miles, I was like, I should not be keeping up with Kevin Leathers.
Right, that's right.
I better slow down. And yeah, that's a. I just remember that.
I think you and I ran that blue loop together, and we were right behind him.
It's probably the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and
yeah.
and
Anyway.
and then my wheels fell off. My wheels fell off, and Vaughn kept going and had his best race ever. So, which is typically what happens.
It was Slamming Sammy Nine Toes' first ultra.
That is awesome.
And
First
he
50K.
he smoked it, man.
Did he?
I don't know what he finished in, but it was fast.
And he's
super
like missing
fast.
a toe, which is
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah,
That's why he's fast.
I think that's it. He's got a weight differential.
That's right.
It's a performing enhancing foot, so he should be stricken from the records. But
Or an asterisk beside his name.
him and
for all of his
Rachel,
PRs.
I think they ran the whole thing together, but they were like super duper fast. It was really hard, but it was fun, man.
It is fun.
Did Amanda run?
Yeah,
How'd she do?
she did great.
No complaining about the routes or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
yeah.
She still did all that.
Yeah, she never.
Yeah, that's right. She said she was not ever going to run that race
ever
again.
gonna run that
She will
race.
not be back. I promise you
I
that she will not
promise
be
you
back.
she won't.
Her toenails are like oozing. We could find her right now. We could walk out the door and find her like a snail because her toenails are just so jacked. They're just like hanging around and
Pour some salt on them and their toes would just disappear.
they're just like flopping. Like you can hear when she's walking around, you can hear her toenails going.
Wow. How cool was it to be racing?
It was the
like
coolest.
At a real race live and in person.
It was so fun. There were so many people there. You know, we had the LHRL tent there. People just hanging out. It's been so long since anybody's hung out,
Right.
man?
Yeah.
And it was just fun, man. It was super duper fun. You know, you just forget how much these people are like a staple in your life when you haven't been around them for so long.
Right.
And then when you're running around and you can't wait to pop out of the woods to see who all's there to start complaining and have them bring you.
It's just really cool
food.
to do an event like that where you know everyone, or not everyone, but a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people don't have that experience. You know?
Right.
Some people are going to a race and don't know anyone. You know, and so it's like not a clique, but it's like it's fun to just show up and you know everyone. Well, a lot. You know, most of the people that are running, or
Well, and that's the
even
thing,
if you don't
like,
know them, there's like
With our group, if you don't know them, then somebody in our
Somebody
group knows them.
does.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there are no strangers at local races, local
Right.
ultras for us.
Yeah.
you know?
By proxy, everybody kind of knows everybody.
Yeah.
I use that term by proxy. I don't even know what it means. But I think I used it well.
I think you
If
used
I
it
didn't
correctly.
use it well, I feel like Thirsty would have told me already.
Yeah, he would have. He's such a jerk.
What does anybody else? I've got things to talk about, but they're probably. What do you guys have to talk about?
I want to talk about the fact that I am also. I won't even go as far as saying that I'm as famous as GFO when it comes to Tunnel Hill.
You don't need to because you'd be wrong.
I would be wrong, but I was recognized last weekend at Tour de Wolf.
What?
Out on the trail. You're that guy that was
That
in
knows
the Tunnel
GFO.
Hill. You're that guy that was in the Tunnel Hill video.
You were
I was.
really. Who said that?
A lady I recognized from Memphis Runners races and stuff like that. She was very sad. I guess Tunnel Hill's been canceled or whatever this year, and
Oh, really?
Has it officially?
Or apparently it's impending that it's going to be. And so as she was running by me, she made a comment about how she had watched the video and enjoyed it, and that she was sad that they weren't going to be able to run this year, or she was pretty sure they weren't going to be able to run this year.
I got the email and I was driving, so I couldn't read the whole thing. I read as much as I could before I had to start looking back at the wheel. But that's what GFO told me, that it was pretty much, he paraphrased it by saying it would take a miracle for you to get in if you were on the wait list, and it would likely take a miracle to even have the thing for the people that were on the list.
Yeah, we were talking about it after we ran last weekend, and I guess the biggest challenge isn't like that the race director isn't willing to have the race. It's that he relies on like the Vienna City Park.
Yeah.
And like the places where the aid stations are, and he has to have permits for those, and those towns or whatever are not likely to issue permits because of social distancing concerns.
Somebody asked me, they said, well, I didn't realize that Missouri was bad with COVID. And I said, they're probably not, which is why they're not allowing a race. They're probably not bad with COVID because they don't allow races and things like that to happen. So I don't know. We do need to address the KFC mashed potato incident. What were you thinking?
What do you mean? What was I thinking?
What, you thought that you were going to come to me to defend you over Katie, that KFC's, you were referring to it as gravy and mashed potatoes. Is that correct?
I was.
And then you asked.
Everybody says mashed potatoes and gravy.
Nobody says gravy and mashed potatoes. And then you come to me
with the side of mashed potatoes
and say, Katie's arguing with me. Will you like set the record straight? As if I'm going to put Katie in her place. The chances of me taking your side on anything, period, over Katie are not good. And I likely would have jumped the fence even if she would have been the one saying whatever ridiculous thing you were saying. But everybody knows it's mashed potatoes and gravy. I've never heard anybody, even not from here, pronounce it gravy and potatoes mashed or whatever it was you said. It was absurd.
Okay.
It was upsetting.
I accept all of that.
Okay. I want you to apologize to me and Katie.
She wants me to apologize to her daily.
A couple things. One's going to lead to the other.
Yeah.
I want to get to your Samsung phone. I want to tell you one way to handle that, which is the way that I handled it. You guys know that I've had it out with Panera Bread for 5 years now. Did y'all know that?
I did not know about this.
I feel like I'm aware of that.
I've been on a Panera Bread strike because like 4 years ago I was doing the Whole 30. Amanda and I were doing the Whole 30. It was like day 20 or something. Like,
so you were
we
angry.
were in it.
We
were intense. We'd been running. And so I'd go by Panera Bread and I get 2 BLTs to go. I'd take the bread off and throw it away. I get home, there's no B on there. There's no bacon.
Son of a.
So I called the place to let him know, like, this can't be happening very often. The girl's like, okay. And I was so pissed off. And because
all I'd been looking for were 2 for the last 3 hours, 4 hours.
4 years it's bothered me. I would not step foot in a Panera Bread company. And so I went to Twitter just last week. And
you followed my advice, and you can solve any problem.
That's the only place to solve problems is Twitter.
With corporations, I believe that is the proper place to solve everything. It's every day is Festivus. It's the airing of the grievances.
Well, good, because I wrote a long Twitter post about my Samsung phone before I left.
And I hope you mentioned AT&T and
I
Samsung.
mentioned AT&T in every Samsung account that I could find.
I guarantee you will have replies, and they would like to help you resolve that.
And if you don't even think about not putting it on LHRL and saying that's not what LHRL is for. Because rest assured, if I have a problem, the first place that I'm going is
because LHRL has more followers.
Because they have followers. They have clout. I mean, why the hell else do you want it?
I don't know.
I mean, what are they going to say? Well, LHRL is just a bunch of complaints about customer service. Well, what else would it be? It's just a bunch of people talking about
Samsung
fitness.
Needs to fix their shit. We wouldn't have to bitch about it. And wait.
I know.
What's
Vaughn.
the treadmill company? What's the
Nordic Track.
Nordic Track. That's right. That's all we do is we bitch about Panera Bread, Samsung, and Nordic Track.
Do you think I ever would have gotten a response from Nordic Track without Twitter?
No.
No way.
No.
And I know Vaughn's butthole puckers every time I take to Twitter. But if you got something of value that's not giving you any sort of return, might as well go ahead and use it for customer
okay.
service.
There's a couple of high-profile people that use Twitter for their own personal dumpster fires, and
it works.
We've just kind of become normalized to it these days.
It works. And Vaughn, if I was you, I'd be sending that thing out right now.
Yeah. I mean, I did. I wrote a pretty scathing.
Oh, you already did it.
Well, and you
I
can always count on Thirsty to retweet from 2 accounts.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and not only will he retweet, he'll retweet with comment. So there's somebody on the other end of that that's fearing, okay, Lift Heavy Run Long hits the retweet, you hit the retweet, Thirsty hits it with 2 of them in comments. There's somebody on the other end saying, this thing's about to get in the hands of Denzel Washington or something. You better solve it. This little $300 problem or whatever it is, we got to nip this in the bud before it turns into, national disgrace.
Katie Maxwell says, you know what? I think I might love Crocs now.
Gotta love it. It's how the world works.
Oh, man.
Yeah, VG Swanson's got 2,500-ish followers.
Do you really?
I do.
Wow.
So
I think I have right near 1,000, not that much. Maybe
I got like 12.
So you guys both know my buddy Joe.
Yeah.
So you talk about me guaranteed retweeting from 2 accounts. Like there are days where I get like 8 retweets simultaneously, and he controls a bunch of accounts. And so
does he?
If he decides that like and usually it's, like an event announcement, some kind of tech event, but he's got Memphis Technology, he's got his own personal account,
yeah.
He's got a gamer account, he's got Hack Memphis, he helps with this group called OSME, Open Sourcing Mental Illness, so he's got access to their account. And I know I'm missing other ones, but like guaranteed, it's just like retweets.
Well, not to mention he is sort of the puppet master for all tech people anyway. So whatever he tweets, people are going to be like,
right.
Joe retweeted, I'm going to retweet.
Yeah, Joe.
Just because people know him and like him.
He's like the Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's right.
Yeah, there's a long-standing joke about Joe being PHP famous, and it's meant to be a slap in the face, but like he actually kind of is a big deal in the PHP community.
He is. He's a huge deal.
Really is.
And I had a problem that I was asked to work with the guy for a student for the company that I work for, and it was in a field that I don't know anything about. And I told the guy, I said, let me get in touch with this guy, Joe. He's helped me before. He's super busy. I don't have any idea when he'll get back to me. And I mean, it was 20 seconds, and he stopped what he's doing and all on
That's
it.
Joe.
And was like, if it doesn't work out, get with me. We'll get it figured out one way or the other. Just incredible, that community, the tech community. I want to be like Joe.
But you tweet that shit. When I get home, I'll retweet the shit. Wilson's going to retweet the shit. We're going to make sure that Samsung feels the pain.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's a non-issue.
I'm perplexed.
There's nothing to be perplexed about. It's a non-issue. AT&T's going to work it out.
You don't know what
we haven't talked about the story on
Oh, yeah,
air
nobody
yet.
knows what we're talking about. Vaughn had a phone for 30 days. He switched from Apple, which was stupid. He got a Samsung. He used it for 30 days, dropped it in the toilet, stopped working. Now they're telling him it has water damage.
I did not.
And he's like, it's not water damage, it's sewer water.
See, you've already soiled my complaint.
Soiled. I see what you did there.
So his phone's not working.
No, I bought a phone. I got a brand new phone. I switched from iPhone to Samsung, and 30 days later, it quit working. Like, it just quit working. And I took it to AT&T, and the guy
That's
said,
after you dropped it in the toilet.
no, I didn't drop it in the toilet.
It was at the lake.
I didn't get that phone. Went
No,
nowhere.
he lives on the
near
river.
He's
water.
on the
on the
river.
river, not the
When
lake.
he's cooking hot dogs, had a little bit too much to drink.
See,
spilled the beer on
Samsung
him.
is going to use this as evidence against me.
Just tell him you were cleaning the SIM card with alcohol. The beer that fell on it was alcohol.
So, anyways, you sent the phone in.
No, I went up to AT&T and I said, hey, man, I got this phone like a month ago, and it just quit working. And so the guy like put 6 different SIM cards in it, and he said, man, this usually happens like maybe 5 or 6 years into having a phone. I've seen that happen, but never seen it on a new phone. You need to call. I didn't have insurance on the phone. And he said, since you didn't do the insurance, which is, I'd go on another rant about that, but he said, call Samsung, tell them you need a new phone, it quit working, they'll send you another one. And I said, okay, that's what I'll do. And so now I did that. Wednesday, what's today? Monday.
Podcast day.
Wednesday, I shipped it to them. They got it Friday. And today, I got a notification that said, it's going to cost $300 to fix your phone. So I called them and I said, what's up with that? And they said, well, there's water damage. And I said, it's impossible to have water damage. Like, I was yelling at this woman who, I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm like, listen, that phone, we're in quarantine. I work from home. Like, that phone lays on my desk 90%
I don't care
of the
what
day.
my Instagram shows. I haven't been at the river.
Did you tell them about your circle of trust, that you're only around a certain amount of people?
You aren't helping me at all.
I've got a circle of trust. None of them have been wet around my phone.
Unfortunately for him, we're in that circle of trust, so he's screwed.
Do not tag Samsung in this.
Oh, that would be so fantastic. Oh. When this episode comes out,
Look,
I'm going to retweet it and be like,
I'm just
Samsung, you
telling
should
you.
watch this.
That phone did not go in any water.
I believe you. I seriously do. Like, it's so funny.
I'm trying to stay calm with this peaceful sunset on the river that I took with my Samsung phone.
then I dropped it
right
in the
before I got
river.
water damage.
What you can't tell is that I'm floating out in the middle of the river to get this shot.
Canoe trip 2020.
Oh, man.
They'll fix it. What you need to go to AT&T, get an iPhone, and pay like $8 a month for the next 45 years. And that's the way it works. And then every 2 years you upgrade.
Well, that's what I did with this phone.
But then how's it costing you $300?
They said I owe them $300 to fix my phone.
Yeah, I hear
You send us $300 and
Here's
we'll
what- here's-
fix your phone by
here's-
sending you a
here's-
new one.
That's right.
Listen.
Give me $300, I'll fix your phone.
Here's
but
what
you're
I'm
going to have an iPhone
You're gonna end up with an iPhone afterwards.
under the gardener's shadow.
After I yell at them for however long tomorrow morning, I'll go up to AT&T and go, I want to add insurance to my phone. And then a couple days later, I'll go up there and be like, my phone doesn't work anymore. I need a new phone.
That's right.
No, it won't work like that.
Well, I don't know what to do. But
I think you need to call your lawyers, Horl and Swanson Law Group, and let them take care of this for you.
Have Scott Howell send him a letter or an email.
I'm sure he would do that.
He totally would. Don't think I don't. He sends
Charge
letters
it,
for me.
just bill it to the gardener shadow. And,
Right.
What else we got?
Oh, man. We have lots of stuff. What do you got over there on your list? Do you have a big, long list of topics?
Mine's all crap, but I mean good crap. But I think you've got good stuff to talk about.
Man, I've got stuff.
I watched.
We can talk about it.
I watched the Social Project. Have y'all seen the Social
Oh,
Project?
dude, man, that's a pretty powerful thing to watch.
It is. I don't think that it's a surprise. I think that it's only going to get. You probably know this. Both of y'all know this. I didn't know this. So the Facebook like button is only what, 10 years old? Something like that?
Well, Facebook.
Okay, I
How old
believe
is
that.
Facebook?
Facebook is. I'm just gonna say, 2005.
And so with that, is that in line with it's only been that amount of time that we were able to capture data that quickly without needing to refresh or redirect a page?
Well, so what you're talking about is what the tech world refers to as AJAX, asynchronous JavaScript and XML, and so that obviously that technology has grown and it's not AJAX anymore. But
is AJAX a derivative of the like button? Is that
no.
did they coincide with one another?
AJAX came out long before the like button. I'll tell you, the first website to wow people and really give that we don't need to refresh functionality is Google Maps. Somebody at Google as a side project, back in the day when Google hired you, you were allowed to spend 20% of your paid time at work working on whatever you wanted to, just like fun stuff for you. And somebody built Google Maps, and he figured out how to use AJAX to asynchronously load the additional map tiles as you moved the map around, and it was mind-blowing at the time when it happened. And so at the point that you can load a map up, then all of a sudden everybody was like, oh, well, what else can we do without refreshing the page? And it really just quickly became kind of mainstream to implement.
Now I think we're used to just having everything.
It's weird to see a
instantaneous.
page refresh.
You don't have to post anything anymore. Post doesn't, your request doesn't go to the server and back to you anymore, right? Like, I mean, it's just, you don't have to wait for that.
Right.
Right.
It's still doing that, but you're just not aware of it.
Exactly.
I'll give us 50 years, maybe 70 years. There won't be 2 more generations of humans to have children, I don't believe.
Interesting.
I think that through technology, there'll be options that allow you to experience everything that you need to experience without the overpopulation and overcrowding of overrunning a planet.
Are you leaning towards the it's going to just become the super rich thing that you can afford to actually have a real kid as opposed
something
to a virtual
like that.
kid or something
yeah,
like that?
Yeah, like the option to have a kid. There'll have to be something motivated, a reason, and it'll be controlled as to if you're going to have real children. But you have the option of having children as far as you know, because it'll be all up in your brain and your reality that you're having children, and with that will come all the emotions that come with having children. So what difference does it make? However, you don't have the, financial expense of it. You don't have the waste. You don't have the food that has to be produced. You don't have all the things, all the resources that we're running out of. I think technology will fill that void. I'm making all this stuff up.
Yeah, no, that'd be interesting. I mean, that's an interesting take on it. I assume that long term we'll get to what China's done, where they're limiting every couple to only one kid, and there's basically penalties if you have more than one child, because nobody having any kids means that the population dwindles, but we do need to get to a point where we stop growing the population of the world, but we probably don't ultimately want to see it regress, would be my guess.
Yeah. I don't know. This election may cease all existence just through one big hydrogen bomb.
We're just going to all kill each other.
Won't be long.
Yeah.
It won't be. I don't know that we'd make it 70 years no matter what course we took.
Would you put a chip in your head?
Yes.
You would?
Yep. If it meant I'd have a free phone all the time and Wi-Fi.
What about this? Would you put a chip in your head and upload your brain into a computer if you could live forever?
Yeah.
And you would just live forever?
No. I don't want to live forever.
I don't want to live forever.
Just some sort of virtual world where you'd live.
Yeah, sure. Where I don't get old, to where I don't have to. I mean, I don't want to live forever and have to deal with the stuff that I got to deal with. Chafe and things like that.
There's a show on Prime, and I want to say it's called Upload.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I haven't watched it.
It's interesting, and basically what it is right before death, they give you the ability to upload your persona or whatever into the virtual world, but somebody has to pay for that. So you either have to set up a trust that continues to pay your bills.
Oh, right. If your monthly bill
because
goes
it's
bad,
a month,
they unplug you.
then they just unplug you, or you can go into the free zone, which is they talk about it's limited to instead of unlimited data, it's 3 megs a month, and
right, yeah. So some people really get screwed.
You have to watch ads for the rest of your life.
You're literally stuck on the floor, in this room on a floor in a white room,
and it covers all of that. It really does. And anyways, it was an interesting. I like shows like that make me think about where things could go in the future. It's Black Mirror. Mm-hmm. Black Mirror does a great job of
freaking
what
out.
One technology thing can we take and basically fast forward, the like button, and fast forward 50 years, and basically technology is or the society's become obsessed with it to the point that like
I can pay my house note with how many likes I get.
Your social standing.
Right,
no,
yeah.
well,
people can see it.
There's an episode. There is an episode where it's not paying your house note, but it's what job you can get, what interest rate you can get,
right.
all sorts of stuff like that.
Yeah, I want to say the girl wanted this one house, and she didn't have enough likes to get the mortgage on the.
And I think it was on a scale of 1 to 5, and she was at like 3.5. But if she was at 3.75, she'd get like better rates or a better job or something. Yeah. Anyways, I think all stuff like that is interesting to me.
Well, I think that the future is the government will give you your phone. The option is you give all of a significant amount of your freedom away. Freedom that doesn't really mean a whole lot. You're just allowing somebody to know where you are and kind of what you're up to. But in exchange for that, you're going to get the phone or the device that allows you to have things that also comes with health insurance and auto insurance. But the auto insurance, you get that because it can also control your car. So you're sure not to get in accidents, but you're also you're sacrificing all these things for a device that you have to have. But because of that device, it allows companies and advertisers to put things into your device or into your reality. And so that's what pays the government to continue to run. And that's what affords you the opportunity to have this device that does so many things for your reality.
I mean, as long as it's an Apple device, because if it's a Samsung,
you're just going to have water damage.
Stop working, and you'll be shit.
That's right. You can't go swimming. Won't be able to swim anymore. You can get a Samsung device, but you can't get in the water or have a lake house, which only one of us does, and only one of us has water damage on our phone.
I am convinced on some level that many of the things that people are like, they're not going to impose on my freedom, like those things are already being monitored. You're just not aware of it. Like so there's a thing the post office does. It's called informed delivery. And so
I love it.
So you can sign up to get this email every day about
what's coming
in your mail the next day, and it's literally a scanned copy of every piece of mail that's coming to your thing. And somebody's like, "Oh wow, that's so cool that the post office implemented that." And I'm like, "No, the post office has been scanning your mail for years. They're just now giving you access to those pictures.
They're just, hey, we can
like
start showing them
they just put a public face on what they were already doing."
Right.
And I think it's a similar thing. Like I think there's a lot of things where we feel like, well, and it's like the whole data mining thing that came out about Facebook probably during the 2016 election. About that there was these groups that were basically like getting you to install this like fake app, and by using the fake app, then all of a sudden it was able to track you and knew who your friends were and all these other things. And I think a lot of that's happening anyways, and we're just oblivious or intentionally ignorant or naive or whatever you want to call it to it. And I think it's just become more and more aware. And so I would much rather say, here's my wrist, install the chip, because then at least I've got full disclosure on knowing what's being tracked and monitored and that kind of
and then maybe they would see that I actually did not drop my phone into
That's right.
Can you just review my videos for the last 30 days, and you'll know that this phone has been sitting on my desk for the last 30 days and it has not been dropped into the water.
I'll give it all up. I'll give it all away. Somebody can have whatever information they need on me, as long as I'm allowed to play Angry Birds when I want and have access to the Sonic app. Because since I found the Sonic app, there's really nothing else that I want but that.
Well, Chick-fil-A has one too.
Chick-fil-A
has an app.
I didn't know that.
And you can order and go pick it up, and you get
most sites do. Do you know McDonald's is who is Travis Scott? Who is that? I think he's somebody. Travis Scott, I think, is the guy's name.
That sounds.
McDonald's is running a collaboration.
Was he a rapper?
I think it might be a rapper.
And they ran out of beat because
there's a lot of McDonald's restaurants that are actually running out of ingredients because they're doing this collaboration.
It was like a quarter pounder with cheese when bacon. And I think this dude said, "Man, I want a quarter pounder with bacon on it." And so they were like, "Yeah, we'll put bacon on it." And so now they started offering this Travis Scott bacon
and
quarter pounder, and then they ran out of bacon.
It's a quarter pounder with bacon on it. It's fries. It's like a special drink. It's not a Mountain Dew. I think it's some kind of special Mountain Dew or something. And then it comes with a side of barbecue sauce.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's like the Travis Scott special. And there were McDonald's restaurants around the country running out of some of the ingredients because this guy said, go do this.
Travis Barker is the drummer.
That's the Travis Tritt. So
Travis
you're talking
about. No. He's a rapper. Yeah.
Is he?
He is, yeah.
Okay.
American rapper is what Wikipedia says.
Okay, so on the Lift Heavy Run Long Community Facebook page this week, there was the post about the kid that got pushed down at his cross-country meet.
Yeah. I thought that was wild.
I thought it was wild, too.
I mean, so basically, without reading the whole thing, the lady, I think it was a lady, said that her son was at cross-country, and he's a smaller dude, and was running out in the woods, and the older kids were pushing him down. She posted a picture of like his wounds, like his back was all jacked up or whatever. And I was like, that's not okay.
I knew where I was going. I knew it was going to be these wannabe tough guys piling on for it's good for them. Like you got to have that kind of stuff.
Listen, I know what you're saying, right? Like I get what you're saying. Like you don't want your kid. You want him to be tough and learn how to do it.
Right.
Let him go and join the Marines or go to some other thing. That's not what high school cross country is for your kid to get pushed down the hill and God knows what happened to him. You know, like if that happened to my kid, I would be pissed.
Yeah.
I don't care how badass my kid is or whatever. If some douchebag pushes them down while they're out trail running, that is not okay. And that does not make my kid tougher and make my kid somehow a better adult as he grows up. Like, no, he could have really hurt himself, you know? And if I want my kid to like toughen out, I'll make him go run Spartan races or something. Like make him go join the army. I don't know. Like
it's not even about the kid. It's about the douchebaggery of the people that post that feel like they have to comment about things like that. You know, that this is a solution to a problem. Like the solution to some kind of problem is going to be for, you know, kids to be, you know, bullied and pushed down. Like I understand that's going to be something that happens. It's something that you're going to have to deal with in life.
It's something
and
that
that
happens,
sucks.
but
it's not
okay.
It's not a rite of passage.
Well, and it's also not something we should. Yes, it's going to happen. Yes, we can't stop it. But it's not something we should be encouraging. You know?
One of the comments said, "Without bullies, there can be no heroes," and I wanted to put that on a meme with a quote that said, "Ricky Bobby's dad," because it was the stupidest thing that I've ever heard in my life. Because what about bullies and heroes other than like the Karate Kid and things like that? There's not always an antagonist when it comes to heroes, not in human form. You know, firefighters aren't fighting bullies of fires.
In the Karate Kid, adults get to beat the shit out of teenagers, and you can't do that in real life.
That's right.
Like if I'm getting the shit beat out of me, and I'm 14 years old. And some dude that's Brian's age comes out of the woods and starts beating the shit out of these other 15-year-old kids. That's not okay. Like,
right.
I'm going to go to jail if I do something like that.
Are you saying Mr. Miyagi was Brian's age?
Yeah.
Like, you think Brian's as old as Miyagi was?
I don't know how old he was, but he was an
he's getting
adult,
up there.
And he whipped the shit out of some teenagers.
He did.
And I would love to do that. And you know how many times I've wanted to put my hands around a teenager's neck and just choke them.
Have you ever got?
You can't do that.
Have you ever grabbed a teenager?
No.
Yes.
Have you?
My own.
Have you ever grabbed? Their friends?
I've wanted to, but you can't do that. But listen, if you're running on a trail with somebody, you can't just push some kid down. Like, and it doesn't. That does not work.
And
if I'm the coach, I'm like, did you push that kid down? Yeah. Well, okay, man. That's cool.
The other crazy thing is like, I mean, at what level this is a high school cross country meet, like probably just like a standard meet, right? Not like the national championship high school cross country
Right.
meet. So at what point, like, do you really need that much of an advantage? You know that
They're
you
just
gotta
being
push somebody
dicks.
down.
They were just
Yeah.
being dicks and picking on this kid, and I don't think that's
Not that it
okay,
would be
man.
okay at the Olympics or anything else, but I'm just saying, like, what? Yeah, if they're dicks at that level, then how big a dicks are they going to be if they got to
Yeah,
a higher level?
This is how it works, Olympics. I can just push my dude down if he's in front of me. You know, it doesn't matter if he was gonna win the gold medal and I was gonna win the silver. I just pushed him down. I get the gold. That's how this shit works. Like, didn't you learn that in high school cross country? I mean, everybody's supposed to learn
Show them
that.
the tape.
You had a link about the CrossFit Games in 2020. What was that about? I didn't get a chance to open it
Well, I
up.
think we had the CrossFit Games this weekend.
we
right?
did. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, at least the first
That was the thing?
the first the finals. Like there was an event, an online event this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I think.
Interesting. Didn't know.
Yeah, and I
didn't either.
think the winners of that, the top 8 of that, are going to go to the ranch and have like the real CrossFit Games in October.
Ah, when are they doing? Are they still doing the Open?
No, so the Open is moved to the spring now. Don't you remember we did like 2 Opens within like 6 months of each other?
I do.
Yeah, and so I think the 2020 Open was in the spring, and now this.
But
is
I
the-
thought they were going to do, and they were talking about doing an Open during football season at one point in time during the fall.
Oh, maybe I have it backwards.
or maybe
Yeah,
that was
I-
last. Did they try to do it
I
last
don't know.
year?
I got so confused about how all that works. But I can tell you that Tia Claire Toomey and Matt Frazier have both, big surprise, won their respective divisions in the stage 1 of the 2020 CrossFit Games.
That's a shocker.
Yeah.
How's that internet working?
It's working awesome.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm
Little
so
thing
happy.
right there. I want one of those.
Yeah.
You
can't put it in
So
water,
there's
though.
like a top.
Can't swim
Well,
with it.
yeah, it doesn't matter who makes it. I'll just call them.
It's not a ski
I'll
belt.
just call them and tell them, hey, I didn't drop it in the water. So you just give me a new one.
That's working.
It's
out so
not
well.
a ski belt. I kill myself.
October 19th through the 25th is going to be the CrossFit Games on the ranch with these, it looks like 10 people.
Del Ranch.
Yeah.
Our friend Sean Hilsden had surgery today.
He did.
Did y'all know that?
It seems like he got through the surgery and now he's going to go home and recover.
He is. He's got to lay on his stomach with his ankle elevated above his heart for like 72 hours. It looks so uncomfortable.
Couldn't do it.
You see that water bottle right there
Yeah.
with the pink stuff wrapped around
Yeah.
it? I forgot my handheld. You know, Sean's an engineer. I forgot my handheld and asked him if he had a handheld in his car.
So he made you
He's
one out of
also an
trail
Eagle
ribbons?
Scout.
No, instead the Eagle Scout in him. The MacGyver.
He
he's the Eagle
MacGyvered the
Scout.
thing.
So he took the trail markers off the trail.
I
and
guess
wrapped
that's
them
what it
around
is.
Your thing?
Yep.
That's probably
So
why.
And it held up for
people
31
got
miles.
lost.
That's probably why they got
Wilson
lost.
pushed a couple of people down, and he won his age group. You know,
That's right.
That's just how it works. I mean, you get pushed down.
so you don't know the trail. It's your own
Wait,
fault.
you just wait till Sylamore. I'm gonna push some dude. That dude that wears that speedo. I'm gonna push that guy right off the mountain.
You could
I'm
kill
like,
him.
Hey,
You could kill him and never.
it would be fine. That's how
you
it
could
works.
kill somebody at Sylamore
I mean,
and never get caught.
If that dude didn't run cross country in high school, he may not know. But let him know.
That's his own
that's
fault
how it works.
for
I
not-
just
that's
push
how
that
the world
motherfucker
works.
right off the mountain.
That's how the world works.
This is how you become a hero, as you push him down.
The next time, put some shorts on, speedo boy. You won't get pushed off the mountain.
We are off the reservation. Where's our adult?
So my
we were doing pretty
handheld,
good.
Sean wrote with a Sharpie a heart, and he put number 72. So today, with my care package, I took him various things, and I also gave him a DVD of my highlight film.
So for 72 hours, he can.
he can just put it on repeat. Just watch it over and over.
Man, that's what's going to get him through it.
It is. And he's going to come back stronger because of it. You watch, his
gonna
Achilles
come
is going to
back
heal
inspired.
twice as fast as it would have under just regular medical supervision. April said that they wouldn't let him go because his heart rate was too low, and she was trying to convince him that it's because he runs all the time, his resting heart rate.
It's so funny. Like that's a regular thing that even me kind of being out of running, my resting heart rate's still really low, and I have to convince the doctors all the time, like, no, there's nothing wrong with my heart.
Sean Hilsden is literally too fit to leave a Mississippi hospital. They're like, we can't let you leave in this fit condition.
Go get this man some McDonald's cheeseburger.
Get this man some sodium. What this man needs is a salt lick and a cheeseburger.
Get him a Travis Scott quarter pounder with cheese and some bacon.
So good luck to him, man.
Seriously,
I hope he
wishing him
recovers
well and fast recovery. What is the overall recovery time? Any idea?
I'm not real sure. I'm sure whatever the doctors say it is, it'll be about a third of that for him.
Well, he's got to outdo GFO, running home from the hospital after COVID. So
that's right. I'm sure there's a.
Katie said, "Where is Amanda? You three shouldn't be left alone."
Man, do you know we've already been through the hour?
Wow,
it's crazy talk.
Almost time, I think. Pretty close.
It's because we were so prepared.
Does you asked if the Sylamore registration was going to happen? You think it's going to happen?
November 1st. It's supposed to.
Somebody else said November 1st. It's usually October 1st, isn't it?
No, it's November 1st. It's always November 1st, but I haven't heard anything, and there's nothing on their website about it. So I don't know, to be prepared for that or not. Like, are we going to run that race or no?
Are you going to do it this year?
I feel like I would. Yeah, I would like to.
Are you going to do it
next year? Not this year, 2021, February.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I feel like I could be comfortable out there.
I mean, I'm going to run St. Jude, the marathon in December. So there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to.
You'll be in shape for
Sylamore.
You're running a lot, aren't you?
A lot. Yeah, I have a coach and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
I ask you about that. Speaking of Kevin Leathers.
Yeah, man.
You liking that?
I'm like a fanboy of Can't Stop.
You've always been a fanboy.
I have ever since I started running.
He doesn't have to be your coach for that to be a reality.
No. And to be fair, I joined their group, the Can't Stop Endurance group. It's not like one-on-one coaching or whatever, but we meet on Tuesday night and we have a running plan that we follow.
Oh, cool.
And we have a private Facebook group where we post about the runs, and Kevin or Holly will post answers and questions. But we meet.
Is Holly his wife?
No, his partner at Can't Stop Endurance. Okay. Kevin moved to Dallas, Texas, by the way. He's not in Memphis anymore.
I think I knew that.
And but anyway, Holly is here, Coach Holly, and she meets us on Tuesday nights, and we go through a workout.
Where do y'all meet?
St. Mary's. That's over in Memphis, Perkins and Walnut Grove area.
Yep.
And anyway, I have a whole plan. Like, I just follow the plan. Is
everybody on the same plan?
Yeah, pretty much. It's geared towards like what your goals are. Like if you're running a marathon, there's a low end and there's a high end. You can follow. But we ran like a mile. We did a 1 mile time trial last week. And so the whole plan is based on how fast you run that 1 mile, right? So you have.
So they'll give him target paces based
right.
off
So
of that 1 mile.
It's like, okay, today you run 40 minutes is supposed to be a quote unquote easy run. That's based on my 6:33 mile, which is a percentage of like it's supposed to be like 8:30 to 9:30 pace that you're supposed to run for 40 minutes. You run 60 minutes, it's supposed to be this range or whatever, and then you have tempo runs and all the stuff I'm learning about that you're supposed to run at a certain pace, which is cool because it's like a couple of weeks ago I was like, man, these paces seem pretty fast, but I can do it. Like you just got to just go do it. And because of the science or whatever, based on how fast you run that mile, you can definitely run an easy mile at 9:30 or whatever.
Yeah. If you can run a 6:33 mile, then 9:30 mile should be an
or
easy pace mile.
8:45, 9:15 is an easy run.
How many days a week do they have you running?
That's a good question. 4.
Is it more intervals or distance?
It's both.
Both?
Yeah. So far. This is like the third week.
What would you say the time investment is that that they ask you to put into that?
It's not any different than anything else. Maybe an hour Like today was 40 minutes, but I'm also doing Windler 531 on top of it. So that's like squat, bench press, deadlift, shoulder press for 4 days a week, which doesn't take very long. And so I'll do my run. I'll mix that in with whatever their runs are. So I'm trying to get stronger and better at running.
Yeah. I think that's a really good plan.
I love it. I'm like super fired up about it.
Yeah.
I'll be curious. You've got the discipline to just do whatever you're supposed to do.
I work really well in that capacity where if you're my coach and you tell me what I need to do, I have no problem doing exactly that and nothing else. I don't need.
I wonder, like for me, like 8 or 10 weeks into it, if I'd start getting like, man, I want to run more. I want to do more.
I do not have that problem.
Do they discourage that? Do they tell you if you're going to do
They
this?
don't. Actually, they said if you want to run more, talk to us about it. We'll work it out and we'll make your runs longer or add a run if you want to. But I'm not that way. I'm just like, I just need to see your plan and I will follow it to the letter. And I told him, I was like, look, I'm doing Windler 531. I'm lifting 4 days a week. I don't think it's a problem to put all this running into that either. I can manage it myself. It's fine. I'll follow the running for me right now is 100%. Like if I need to move a lift or something to a different day, I'll do that.
So the run has the priority.
Yeah. I'm 100% wanting to be a better runner, so that's
awesome.
What I'm focused on, but I also would like to maintain my strength and build some strength too. So going to lift is also a second priority.
Makes sense.
I support your 100% on your style. I like the whatever you're calling the Windler type lifts. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like just taking a few different movements and getting some strength.
Yeah, that's areas. A really cool program, and you can find a spreadsheet for free on the internet where you put in your 1 rep max. Squat,
there's been a few different times at OBCF that Windler was actually the basis for.
Well, it's wild. It's not easy because there's like different variations of it. The one I'm doing is called boring but big. And so you do, based on your 1 rep max, you do sets and reps every day of the lift. But at the end of those sets and reps, you do like 5 sets of 10, for instance. Right? So you do your squat 5 by 3 or 3 by 5, and then it will say, now do 5 sets of 10 at 160 pounds or whatever. That's a lower percentage. And that's rough, dude. Like,
yeah.
The first week I did it, man, my legs were smoked. So anyway, that's
exciting sounding.
Yeah. I'm super excited about it. So
very cool.
What else we got?
I went over time.
We are over time.
Sorry, guys.
Anybody have anything amazing to say?
I didn't read any of the Facebook comments. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe next time we can read comments from people.
Lift Heavy Run Long, number 193. It's in the books.
Boom.